Hi, it's Joey here. Whew. Well, it's Sunday morning, it's about 10:30, and I've been up since 6 a.m. and since I've been up this morning, I've just been overwhelmed with anxiety, and nothing shifts it, or nothing is shifting it at the moment. So I've already been out once this morning, went out for a walk around town, obviously before it got busy. Went to a coffee shop, tried to do some read a book, but that wasn't sinking in. Came home and immediately came back out again because I wanted to record kind of what it's like to be in these feelings of anxiety, just to share it with you and also myself, because sometimes you have these feelings of anxiety, and then when you're out of them, it's like I have a memory of being in an anxious state, but I can't, because I'm not in it at the moment. It's hard to articulate what that anxious state is and how it's affecting me. So I thought I'd do that now. It's come out, same place I recorded the other day. I kind of just talk through, and also might even help to shift the anxiety, at least partially. I hope so anyway. So what am I feeling at the moment? I can feel it in every part of my body. I can feel it in my hands, my fingers, especially so my hands and fingers, I don't know why, but all the way down through my legs, especially in my stomach, in my head. It's almost like I'm in a heightened state of awareness, but I don't feel in danger, if you see what I mean. But it's thoughts that are going on in my head that are the worst part. It's because I'm thinking about everything all at once and then nothing at all, because there's so many things competing for attention. I've got so many feelings about worry, but I can't quite put my finger on what specifically it is I'm worried about at this present moment in time. I'm feeling exceptionally overwhelmed. Like there's so many things I want to do, and because there's so many things I want to do, I can't just do one of them. I feel like all the days are just merging into one, and what I want to do is just give myself a kick up the arse. But yeah, I knew this was going to happen. You know, I had a feeling last night, I thought it was almost a self-fulfilling prophecy, I suppose, that I would wake up this morning and I'd be full of anxiety. It was no surprise when I woke up feeling this way, put it that way. And so I know, I don't panic. I mean, it sounds silly, but I mean, anxiety sounds like a bit of a contradiction, doesn't it? I've learned not to panic when I'm in an anxious state. I have to be with it, and I have to get through it, because I know I will get through it, because I've been in this position loads of times. And that's the advice to anybody that I'd give to anybody who suffers from anxiety, who's going through a period of anxiety. You know, you will get through it. You will get through the other side. It might take an hour, it might take a day, it might take longer than a day, but all of a sudden, for me, it seems to be like all of a sudden I come out of it. I don't know the precise moment I come out of it. All of a sudden I realise, oh, I'm no longer anxious. It's almost like I don't know where that tipping point is, or I'm not aware of it. But yeah, it's just so many telltale signs as well. It's like, I know I've got tons of housework to do, cleaning, washing up, sorting things out in the home, life admin, everything like that. And it's not that it's getting top of me, it's just I just don't start it. And don't get me wrong, I do not live in a pigsty by any stretch of the imagination. I'm generally quite a tidy person, but it's the fact that I'm just leaving it that little bit longer than normal, and then not starting it but adding to it, if you see what I mean. So I know I need to get that sorted. One of the best ways I deal with anxiety as well is just to get out the house, and I'll come for a walk. But one thing, I just can't seem to stop my legs from moving. That seems a funny thing to say, doesn't it? But it's almost as if I have to keep walking, I have to keep moving. which is what I'm doing now. I'm walking exceptionally slowly because I'm filming and recording at the moment, but usually I've been walking a lot faster than this. What brought this on? I don't know. I've noticed over the past few days that loneliness is hitting hard at the moment, and then I get the anxiety on top, or about that loneliness actually. It's almost as if I should be able to seeing other people, but I don't know how. In actual fact, I do know how, but I just don't have anyone to see. And that will work itself out. But there's anxiety about just feeling in a rut. And by feeling in a rut, I mean things aren't moving forward probably as quickly as I want them to, which never happens in life. But it's like, I feel like I've got things sorted recovery-wise, and I'm on a good path in that respect. But the rest of it is just like walking through treacle. And it's like, I just don't know where I'm headed. Like, I probably do want to get out of Manchester, which is where I live, by the way, in case you didn't know that. I need a fresh start somewhere, and I know that's not the answer to all the problems everywhere, but there's so many triggers around, and I think I just deserve to give myself that. Besides, what am I now? 44 years old. I don't want to spend, I've been here 6 years on this occasion. I spent much of the last 20 years in Manchester. So, spent in London, a couple of years in London, but much of the last 2 years in London, in Manchester, sorry. And I still don't feel like I belong here. I've not made any roots, I've not made a huge number of connections. I don't have a career that I want to pursue in Manchester. I just want to get out and try something new. How am I going to deal with this anxiety today? But hopefully, I'm hoping it's going to ease off. If I get myself to the gym, I know that I can get the dopamine flowing. I suppose that's why I always feel like I need to keep my legs moving, because it just gets the body moving, doesn't it? Gets endorphins flowing, or trying to anyway at the moment. And if I can get to the gym at some point today, I know I'll feel a hell of a lot better. It's not going to happen in the next couple of hours though, I know that. But it's still got it there in the back of my mind. I've got so many things I'm putting pressure on myself for, which I know is a bad thing, but it's one thing to say don't be too hard on yourself and don't put pressure on yourself. It's another thing to put that into practice. I think what I've done over the last few days is I've taken my foot off, not the accelerator, well, let's say I've let my guard down a bit. If I let my guard down a bit, I think I've become too complacent, thinking I'm coping better than I am, and letting things slide a bit in terms of things that are helping me cope. One of those was being organised, so just having my to-do list every day, 3 things maximum, no more than that, because then it becomes too overwhelming. Just having it down on a page-a-day diary, and that really helped. And I stopped doing that about a week or two ago, probably about 2 weeks ago, and I feel lost without it now, I think, because I don't have a genuine purpose every day, day in, day out. And that was really helping, because it just gave me 3 things to focus on. I mean, they weren't huge things, admittedly, but if I got those 3 things done, then I felt a sense of accomplishment. And now I'm completing every day without feeling that sense of accomplishment. So that's something I definitely need to do. So that's actually point 1 to take away from this video. Just get that diary back, get that practice back in of keeping your diary, keeping your to-do list of 3 things maximum, and getting them done. I know I also have loads of things I want to do, but I need to become more focused and more planned, and planning is not in my nature, and the way my brain works is I think of one idea and then that leads on to 10 ideas, and I want to do all 10 at once, and then I end up doing none of them. So there's a couple of things I want to do. I want to get on with writing my blog, and I gave up easily on that on Wednesday because I got so frustrated with the bloody program, the WordPress and the web host I was using, everything like that, and I just going around in circles. I didn't know, I could feel myself getting stressed about it now. I didn't know what I was doing, and I couldn't get things to work properly, And it got to the point, actually, this anxiety has been building up since then, actually, when I think about it. It got to the point where I just slammed the laptop shut and that was it. And I haven't looked at that blog since then. So I think what I need to do this week is plan a day. Not today, obviously. It's not going to be a good thing to look at that today. A day where I just look at it, start from scratch again, follow instructions, don't get ahead of myself, and just work right through it, because it should be a simple task. And yeah, I'm no dunce when it comes to using computers, and it should be a fairly simple task. I mean, loads of people start blogs and write blogs, so it should just be a case of following step 1, following step 2, following step 3, publish, boom, it's done. So I don't know why I found it so difficult, and I've been beating myself up about that ever since about Tuesday or Wednesday. So that needs to stop. I need to just refocus, recalibrate, start again. I've got the content, nice relaxed place. I need to clean the house as well, and that's going to start when I get home, and just with something simple, nothing major. I'm not going to be mopping the whole place and vacuuming the whole place and sorting out drawers and everything like that. I'm just going to go in, sort out the kitchen, do the washing up, make it clean, have that smell of cleanliness around, and that's a sense of accomplishment, isn't it? Which is what I need, that sense of accomplishment back. I also need to think, one of the things I need to do is just be a bit more careful around social media as well, because I felt it just creeping back up slowly. You know, when you start scrolling a little bit, be it on Facebook or Twitter, and you're seeing photos and you're seeing people's reports of good days they've had, or happy smiles as they're part of a relationship or in a couple, or good things they've done that day. And I know, and that's not a realistic portrayal of their life, but when you're bombarded with those pictures on a daily basis, it kind of makes you feel like a bit of a failure. And I'm not a failure. I've actually come quite a long way from where I was. And just to write, I just start writing about my feelings, journaling again. I've never really got on with journaling, but perhaps if I just take it easy, don't do it at the start of the day, because that was stressing me out when I started to do it at the start of every day, journaling. It didn't work for me. Perhaps just sometimes picking up a pen when I think about it, sitting there and writing, whether it takes 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just unpacking my brain, just letting everything out. And that's it. But yeah, the main thing I learned from anxiety is just, I have to just sit with it for a while. As uncomfortable as that may be, I know it's going to pass. But I'm not going to solve everything in one day, and I think that's my issue, because I think in my head I should do. I can feel my pulse going now. My pulse is like whatever pulse noise it makes, and I just need to calm myself down. I need to not create more social connections, because by my very nature I'm a little bit of a loner, but whether that's a self-fulfilling prophecy as well. But yeah, and God, here I am coming up with a list of a million things as well. One more thing and then I'm going to stop. I probably should sort myself out with, even though I'm alright for money at the moment, but I do need just to get some regularity of working again. I want to get a job, back customer facing, customer focused. That's where my strengths lie. I want to be working not in a bar environment, not in a fancy restaurant, just a bog standard, that sounds as if I'm being derogatory, doesn't mean to come across that way, but just a cafe, nice little place, relaxed, where I can just, obviously it won't be relaxed when you're working, but you know that kind of vibe you get from the place. There's no alcohol, there's not that many dickheads around, no many drunk customers. I'm not placed in an area where there's going to be drugs or anything like that. A place where I can meet and build new connections, and that's it. So have I talked to myself about anxiety at the moment? No, not at all. I'm far from it. I can still feel it throughout my body, and I hope it doesn't last for the rest of the day. But I'm glad I've spoken about it. I want to get my life on track, and I know I'm headed in the right direction. I'm so proud of myself for 117 days it is today of being drug free, and I'm not going to touch them again. And that was my way of self-medicating in the past. In the past, I would have been, either the anxiety wouldn't have happened because I was high, or I would have been, that would have been my first port of call. If I was feeling like this, having a shitty day, then yeah, I would have been getting drugs in. That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. Right, I'm going to sign off now because I've been 15 minutes waffling away. I just kind of wanted to get out what it feels like to be in this anxious state. Feels good a little bit to offload, to vocalise a little bit what's going on in my head. Perhaps I should do this a bit more. Anyway, take care. Hope this video hasn't been too raw. Started to rain now. Actually, it's really started to rain, so I think we're gonna have a downpour. So I'm gonna love you and leave you. Ciao for now. Take care of yourselves.